Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Tony Stark Iron Man Issue 1. And I gotta say, I really liked and enjoyed this issue. It was a great way to start off Dan Slott's run for Iron Man and have a nice solid point to kind of get us into how he's digging into the character and also kind of set us up for what he's kind of going to be doing later on. Now, granted, it doesn't go and set up this whole giant complex thing, but it does a nice starting off point for his run and for anybody interested in the next kind of fresh start arc for Iron Man. So, this starts off and we see like 25 years earlier, we see this kind of robots competition, soccer-wise, between Bang Robotics and this kind of other competitor, and we find out it's a young Tony. And they're all excited because their tech it's got a pretty good thing. They're able to get their robot up in like 3.5 seconds, but then Tony's like, yeah, I don't need to do anything. And then he starts go, y'all ready for this? And then the music starts playing and his robots just trounce them. And he's like, yeah, alright, thank you, and everything. And his mom's like trying to be like, honey, stop that, nobody likes to show up. He's like, yeah, nobody likes a winner either. And then we kind of cut to present day, and we see that Andy Bang is just doing his robotics thing, and we're like, oh, we got somebody messing around, and Tony Stark comes in and goes, hey, cool. And he's evidently got this system for how robots make decisions. It's not the kind of typical hierarchical approach. They all kind of communicate and try and come to the best possible solution. However, unfortunately, his acronym for it is IBS, like Irritable Bowel Syndrome, but Tony's like, that's kind of a crappy name, but hey, cool, listen, I like this idea so much, I really wish I had thought of it. That's why I bought out your investors, and you now work for me. But I want to work with you, so come on with me to my car and everything. I'm like, oh, cool, and Andy is a really good character for them to make. He's kind of this outside kind of dude, kind of in the same realm of Tony, but he's like that outsider being brought in and freaking out like how we would freak out of everything going on. And he's in the car. They get to Stark Unlimited, which is what the company has now been called. It's kind of crazy a little bit, kind of the changes, but it was kind of necessary. I kind of like being like, okay, so this is Stark's company now. We've got Bethany Cabe as his head of security, and evidently there have been some intrusions and everything, so she's being really tight with it. Well, Tony then takes Andy in. We see all this kind of stuff with like cats and dogs and all different kinds of tech and all that, and he takes him to the robotics division, and we find out that it was a hologram. He's like, what the crap? And the real Tony was at Stark Unlimited the whole time. And he goes, yeah, I kind of want you to head up the robotics division, and she'll actually be your boss. And we got Yocasta Pym. And I like that Yocasta's being brought back in because I've been reading Iron Man for a while. Now, granted, not the longest. I haven't gone into, like, the deep early days. But I remember when Yocasta was in the comics, and I like that she's being brought back. And I hope that we get a little bit more info, like, what she's been doing, where she's been and everything, because she's Andy's boss. She's like the ethicist for like robots and human interaction. I'm like, that is cool. And I kind of like her design. It's kind of reminiscent of Edie from the Mass Effect series, but it's not like a complete rip or anything. It's still Yocasta's basic design and everything, but I think it's really cool to have humans and robots working like this. So they get together and they're testing out the IBS system. Andy's objective is to get it to work so that these robots can like decorate for a birthday party, decorate a cake and streamers and everything. They do it, and it's all bedlam and like destruction and like flame and everything. And Yocasta's like, I'm gonna have to report this to both human HR and robot HR, Tony. So yeah. But as they're kind of like, Andy's like, all right, what do I got to do for this? But then alarms blare, and we evidently have a 3F situation, and they go off, and he's like, what, is that like a tornado or something? No, it's 3F, this is for Bing Bang Boom, and Bing Bang Boom is an interesting choice to be brought in like this, but I like how it was done, because he's coming in kind of like Godzilla and everything, kind of destroying everything, and Tony's like, listen, you gotta go and do this. He's got everybody kind of trying to help out and all that. he gets permission from Rhodey to go forward. He's already got his stuff going out, and he's going out with it, and we find out that he's got this Fing Fang Foom Buster, just this giant kind of robot, kind of similar to kind of like Japanese anime mech thing, and he's just fighting Fing Fang Foom like that, and it's amazing. This is where I gotta talk about the art. Now granted, up until this point, we've seen really good human faces and everything. But, of course, with an Iron Man comic, you've also got to get into how does the tech look. And the armor design and how it's done is very well done here. I like how it's shown. It's not like... Sometimes you get artists and they either are able to focus better on human faces or better on tech. So I've seen that kind of happen sometimes throughout different Iron Man runs. We've got a good parody here. We've got good facial expressions and everything, so people don't look kind of weird or look the same. And we've also got really good armor design. I really liked how the Fing Fang Foom Buster looked. But of course, Fing Fang Foom kind of gets to the point that the Buster gets kind of destroyed, and he's in his regular armor. And then, I like how it's kind of a mashup of kind of his previous armors and the Extremis armor. Extremis is one of my favorite ones. Bleeding Edge kind of knocks it out, but they're along the same lines. But he's running around, he's able to start shooting at it, and Yokasta's trying to figure out what he's doing, but Andy's like, oh look, he's trying to do Smaug and create a weak spot, and she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, Hobbit. And she goes, oh. And then she downloads the book, and they're like, oh yeah, exactly, he's doing it like that. But I don't think the movie, it should have been stretched into 3 movies, and I'm like, yes! I like those little kind of things. I'm like, alright, cool. And he then is able to inject one of his nanobot suits, and we had a funny kind of interaction. He's like, look, is there a little Tony in there? He's like, no, I'm just remote controlling it, Andy. No. And so he's like going around, but then he gets knocked down under the water by Fing Fang Foom, and Tony's like, yeah, there's more nanobots in there, but I'm trying to figure out how to ethically have it so that way I can control them all at once. And Andy, of course, then remembers back to how Tony had controlled the soccer team. You're like, Yokasta, download this song. And she's like, well, I gotta wait for one thing. He's like, please. And she's like, yes, do it. And then they get the y'all ready for this, and it works along the same concept, so that way they can kind of get together through that one song. And then, of course, they go through and they're able to get into Fing Fang Foom's brain and see that there's a control disk there. Tony's able to destroy it. Fing Fang Foom's like, I'm kind of done. I will do this on my own. I won't be somebody's pawn, and just leaves. I'm like, that was a pretty good kind of first kind of thing to get the group together and everything. Of course, Andy was freaking out at one point, but Rhodey told him to kind of rein it in, and Rhodey's like, yeah, it's awesome here. It's just, don't worry. Yokasta's like, yeah, you had a bad first impression, but you had a great first day. And then Tony gets back, he's all beat up and everything, but they go out to have a press thing. And I liked how this press thing was done, because it's it's putting in the audience, asking about what's going on. What's up with your armors? Are you doing this whole kind of nesting doll thing? And Tony's like, no, we're not doing an Iron Man nesting doll with giant, medium, small kind of thing. No, don't make that a thing. And they're like, well, what about the thing? Is it nanites, living metal? What's your kind of thing? He's like, well, ask me, say my name. And everybody's going, Tony Stark. But then he goes to this kid, he's like, hey, I'm counting on you. What's my name? He's like, you're Iron Man. He's like, yeah. And the thing is, Iron Man's a concept. We're here at Stark Unlimited, we're all Iron Man. And I'm like, I like that concept. I like that idea. I like how they centered that with, yes, Iron Man is this man in this armor, but it's more than that. It's this concept of trying to move forward and create and help build the future. And Tony needs that with his team. I like that idea. And I like this. I'm really excited to see what Dan Slott's able to do going forward with that. And just seeing all that stuff going on, and Andy being excited that he's on the winning team for once. I'm like, yeah, see what's going on with that. So that's where we get pretty much the first kind of ending of the issue. Then we get towards the other end, and we get this kind of little epilogue, and we see that the controller was the one involved, and that he's got control over Bethany Cave to get information from Stark. So we're going to have to see what his whole play was, why he used Fing Fang Foom for the distraction, and what his overall objectives are. So it's like, okay, this is kind of cool. I don't know much about the controller, but this seems like it'll be an interesting kind of setup for this villain to potentially also bring in other villains and what kind of situations and scenarios are going to occur from that. So I really like this. If you are definitely into Iron Man, this was a great first issue to just, okay, jump in. You don't need to know too much and just kind of see where it's going to be going. So I can't wait to see what kind of cool other action scenes are going to be going on, because they did a great job with Bing Fang Foom's action scene in this and all the kind of cool stuff that's going to be going on. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.